A small group of students have been proving that determination and a sense of humor can get results. I meet Ficus Tree later in the studio for the full story.
And I'll be talking to one of the student body presidential candidates.
And I'll sit down with the only person running for senior class president
to answer the questions we as voters need answers to before electing our ASUU presidents.
Plus, a look at the big rugby match coming up against UC Berkeley. Also a look at baseball and softball and a review of men's and women's basketball. All of this and more coming up on Newsbreak.
News produced by students for students. Brought to you from the Telecommunications Lab at the University of Utah.
The search continues for a new university president.
Ashley Hall will be talking to the lead dermatologist.
This is Newsbreak.
Good evening, I'm Chloe Nguyen.
Thanks for joining us on Newsbreak. I'm Kristen Bingham. LDSSA has been disbanded but is refusing to disappear. Lauren Carter has the story.
The LDS Student Association has been a part of campus life since 1934. 2 years later, they founded Lambda Delta Sigma and Sigma Gamma Chi. They've been an active part of the University of Utah campus until they were disbanded last year.
LDS fraternities and sororities started here at the University of Utah and then spread to some other campuses. So 75 years they had been here. A year ago they set up a system where there are now single adult wards and stakes that all of the young single adults can belong to. There was a concern that the fraternity and sorority might end up competing with, in some ways, the new wards and stakes, and they felt it was time to make a change and to ask those young people participate in these other organizations now.
Latter-day Saints Student Association, they still function as a student group. It's only the Sigma Gamma Chi and Lambda Delta Sigma, kind of the Greek letter groups, that no longer exist.
LDSSA currently has 4,800 students enrolled in classes at the Institute and put on social activities that are not exclusive to LDSSA members.
We had a New Year's party here this last year, and we had probably 2,000 to 3,000 here. May not all have been LDSSA students. Some of their friends came along as well.
For more information on LDSSA and upcoming events, visit studentview.ldschurch.org. Reporting for Newsbreak, this is Lauren Carter.
Thank you, Lauren, for clarifying the new structure of LDSSA. Reporter Todd Patton takes on a similar task, clarifying the responsibilities of the Associated Students of the University of Utah president.
With ASUU elections approaching, we talked to Associate Dean of Students Lori McDonald about the power elected officials hold. More specifically, though, the influence the student body president has on the University of Utah.
The student body president at the University of Utah we're a little unique from what I found from other schools. Our student body president not only sits on the board of trustees of the university, but actually is a voting member. And many schools will have their student body president sit on the board, give reports, hear things kind of in an ex officio manner, and be a part of it, but not ever really have a true voice.
Current ASUU President Neela Pack has helped make decisions ranging from the search to find new University President David Pershing to how tuition and fees are allocated. Sitting on the Board of Trustees is the most important responsibility of the student body president and has a widespread impact on the entire university. The groups Open and Sync are the two opposing parties that will vie for the seats in ASUU next year, and McDonald urges students to take the upcoming election of these new officials seriously.
And I would encourage students to not only just get to know the candidates as people, but to ask them what is their approach to seeking student input. Are they going to be open to hear opinions of students? Are they deliberately going to go out and ask what students are thinking so that they can convey that to the appropriate people?
Elections for ASUU will be held on March 6th and 7th. Students can log into their CIS account to vote for candidates. Reporting for Newsbreak, I'm Todd Patton.
Continuing to prepare you for the upcoming elections, we have Geneva Thompson from the Open Party here in the studio with me. But first, I met up with candidates to get to know them on a more personal level.
Hello, my name is Geneva Thompson, and I am a fourth-year student here at the University of Utah studying history and political science. I am one of the co-program directors here at the Binion Center for the Social Justice Gardens. I'm also heavily involved with RHA in the residence halls and with the ASUU.
My name is Jake Rush. I'm a junior in philosophy and political science. I like to listen to Lady Gaga music and also Bob Dylan. I like to ride my street bike and golf, and I write for the Chronicle. In fact, I actually collect newspapers.
And we welcome Geneva Thompson in the studio with us today. Geneva, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Can I ask you, what are some of your platforms for this upcoming year?
So the basic idea of the Open Party is just to make sure that student voices are heard in our student government and making sure that it's an inclusive space. So no matter how an individual identifies as, they'll feel comfortable in our government.
Okay, but then how do you accomplish, how do you plan to accomplish those changes then?
That's through different policies. Here Student Voices, we're going to have a survey system on our website, a monthly constituent email list, us walking and talking, making sure we're hearing student voices, and then providing an inclusive community. We are going to be providing social justice trainings within the office as well as outside the office for students.
Okay. So. Then how does ASUU in particular play a part in all those?
And all of those, I think ASU needs to take the initiative, the first step in accomplishing those, because if we rely on other institutions, it's not going to get done. And at the end of the day, ASU is supposed to be for the students.
Right. Okay. And the votings are just so low recently. How do you plan, or how do the party plan to get more students to vote, and why should they vote?
Well, I mean, they should vote because at the end of the day, every single student pays $23 a semester to the student government and should have a say in how that money's spent. I know the Open Party has been working really hard to get the vote out. We have tables out there, we're doing classroom announcements, emails, Facebook, text, everything. So we're hoping people come out and vote. Today's the last day, so.
Well, thank you so much, Neva, for coming.
All right, thank you for having us.
And is there anything else you wanted to tell the viewers?
Just, be active, be involved, and go Utah.
All right, thank you, Geneva.
Right, thank you.
What do you think if a grandfather clock declared itself as a candidate for the ASUU elections? What about a windshield wiper or a loaf of bread? Believe it or not, one inanimate delegate has been challenging candidates and surprisingly has won over many supporters.
Ficus Tree emerged into the student government arena 2 years ago, announcing itself to be the first asexual candidate of ASUU elections and the only delegate that could produce oxygen.
Honestly, I felt like the Ficus Tree was a little bit of a joke. I had been involved with ASUU for 1 year as a senator at that time, and so seeing someone out there who didn't take ASUU seriously was kind of unnerving and something I didn't take seriously.
Although Ficus Tree was not included on the past 2 years' ballots, it lured in a significant number of 500 votes in the 2011 elections out of a total of 4,200 combined votes in all positions.
Well, unfortunately, a tree cannot run and win as president according to Red Book, which is ASU's constitution. In order to run for office and to win, you do need to be a matriculated student here at the U.
Tyler Battalion, a now graduated student, created the Ficus Tree campaign in 2010 with the goal of encouraging more students to pay attention to what ASUU does and to challenge other candidates to think about the impact of student government.
So only about 12% of the students voted, and I think that lack of visibility reflects sort of an apathetic student body, and B, a lack of real honest effort on ASUU's part.
With the 2012 ASUU elections quickly approaching, former supporters of the Ficus Tree campaign are wondering, is Ficus Tree coming back this year? And if it is, what does it have in store next? We have Alex Clemmer here with us in the studio this morning. He was one of the people campaigning for Ficus Tree alongside Tyler Battalion in years past and is the person that took over this year's election. Alex, thank you so much for being here with us today. Tell us what you're doing with the Ficus Tree campaign this year.
So this year, to get around the requirement that you need to be a matriculated student to run for student body president, I changed my name to Ficus Tree so that it could be on the ballot. But during the primaries, there was a death in the family, and instead of running the campaign, I arranged funeral services. So probably not a lot, but. So
we won't be seeing you in this year's elections?
Not officially.
Do the goals of this year's campaign differ from previous years, or are essentially the goals the same?
Well, I don't know that there was a specific goal. We were pretty much just doing the same thing that we were doing last year, just more officially. So.
Great. Thank you, Alex. When we come back, how does the University of Utah compare to the Pac-12?
3, 2, 1.
I have now taken 4 different semesters. I've specialized in behind the camera, I've specialized in front of the camera, and now I'm focusing on web-based material. There's a lot of more life experience in this, this class.
When you come in, it's not like, okay, we're here for another class. Let's go sit at a desk and take some notes. I'm here for, another chance to learn something new.
Welcome back to Newsbreak. While large budgets are spent making our athletic team on par with Pac-12, what's being done about our academic accomplishments as a university?
A study done by the Office of Budget and Institution Analysis, the University of Utah has a graduation rate at 56 to 57%. But in relation to the Pac-12, this is a relatively low percentage, which sparks the question, why and what is being done? David Pershing, president of the University of Utah, is putting an emphasis on graduation rates. The U of U is up against schools in the Pac-12, some of which have a 97% graduation rate, but Pershing is introducing a multifaceted plan to increase our rates.
First, we're going to work on the entrance end. So the idea is that we need to be sure that the students we are admitting are students who are prepared to come to the university and who will succeed through their program and ultimately graduate.
In 2013, Pershing plans to increase the admission standards by weighing GPAs more heavily than the ACT or SAT. In the past, the University of Utah has weighed them evenly. He also believes that student engagement is important for the university's graduation and retention rates.
One of the things that we know is that students who are engaged in out-of-classroom activities are much more likely to persist and graduate.
The third prong is putting more emphasis into counseling for students who are thinking about dropping out because of financial issues. Nationally, the culture of Utah is unique. Darren Aiken-Wisniewski, Assistant Vice President and Academic Affairs Associate Dean of University College, works with students on a day-to-day basis and believes the reasons discussed are why the university has a relatively low graduation rate.
We have a lot of students that probably would be called non-traditional students from the standpoint that they have families with dependents and that they're working probably more than just a 15-hour part-time job.
It's definitely a challenge to work school around work schedule.
This is Tiffany Justice reporting for Newsbreak.
Graduation isn't until May 4th, but there are plenty of opportunities for students to keep busy. Jacqueline Consovan picks up on some of the activities from this weekend.
Thanks, Chloe. There'll be a free movie night about food at the Salt Lake City Main Library. The movie they're showing, El Bulli, Cooking in Progress at the University of Utah. It's about renowned Spanish chef Farian Adria. Prior to Mark Smith, certified executive chef, will provide viewers with a primer of that molecular gastronomy of food. This will be on March 13th at 6:30 p.m. Coming up on sports events on Saturday, March 10th at 12 p.m., an anticipated game of the University of Utah's rugby team will take on UC Berkeley at Rio Tinto Stadium. Tickets are just $10. The U's women's gymnastics team will compete against Nebraska on Friday, March 9th at 7 to 9 p.m. The Bug Brigade will be at the University of Utah's Natural History Museum. You'll be able to observe and even handle some of the museum's live bugs. Learn about these arthropods' anatomy, behavior, and important ecological roles. This will be included with the general admission. For more information on all these events, visit www.universityofutah.edu.
Senior class president is a position known for choosing the graduating class gift to the university. So why is Erica Minara campaigning for such a seat in ASUU?
Through being senior class president, I would really like to be able to reach out and educate people about involvement opportunities. I'm not going to say that I would make people get involved because that's a personal decision, but I really feel like if they knew what was out there in terms of involvement, that they could make a better educated decision for themselves about how they want to get involved and when.
Thank you for joining us, Erica, today.
Thank you.
Just a question. So what are some of the benefits that come from students getting more involved here on campus?
So student involvement has a lot to offer anyone who decides to take those opportunities. They can network and they can learn leadership skills and communication skills with other people. They also can really develop some good relationships that will help them through college and that they'll probably even carry on after they graduate.
And how do you plan on educating the student body in terms of getting more involved?
I think a lot of it is about outreach and just making a presence at more events that aren't even ASUU sponsored or anything like that. Just making sure that people know that you're there and that you're a resource for them so that they can ask their questions about how to get involved and what's out there.
And so if you are elected, what other roles would you play?
A lot of my other responsibilities in terms of ASUU senior class president would be planning homecoming towards the beginning of the fall semester, as well as helping get a commencement speaker for the graduating seniors at the end of the spring.
And can you tell us just a little bit of how the election process goes?
So the election process for senior class president is very similar to the election process for president and vice president. Only academic seniors are able to vote for me, so you just log on to your CIS, and if you are a senior, my name will be there. If not, it won't be. But like I said, it's very similar to the rest of the election process.
And is it weird for you not having anyone to compete with?
It is weird because you never know what might happen without an opponent. It gives a different flavor to the campaign. It's a lot more about focusing on actually meeting people and less worrying about the actual election itself. So it is weird, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful for it. So.
All right, Erica. Well, thank you so much for being here, and good luck in raking in those votes.
Well, thank you.
And activities students that start to getting involved in now, attending softball and basketball games. Ben has more.
Thanks, Kristen. It's an exciting time of year for university sports. Winter sports are in the middle of tournament time, and spring sports are underway and preparing for conference play. Women's basketball ended the season with 14 wins and actually 16 wins and 14 losses, and will need to win the Pac-12 tournament, which is currently underway, to earn an invite to the NCAA tournament. Sophomore forward Taryn Wojciechowski from Saskatchewan was named to the Pac-12 All-Conference team. Men's hoops had a terrible season under first-year head coach Larry Kraskowiak. The Running Utes were consistently run out of the gym, dropping 25 contests while only winning 6. The Utes were embarrassed by the Oregon Ducks in their final regular season contest. The Ducks nearly doubled up the Utes, beating them by 46 points. The difficult season featured the dismissal of senior guard Josh Jiggy Watkins from the squad for violating team rules. Watkins was considered the best player on the team as he was leading the team in scoring and rebounding averages. In sports that are just getting their seasons underway, baseball and softball face difficult 2012 schedules as they enter a new conference known for its deep talent pool in these sports. Both squads have to deal with the disadvantage of playing an outdoor sport that begins in the early spring. This means that the first halves of their seasons are front-loaded with road games, while their conference foes like Arizona, Arizona State, the University of Southern California, and UCLA are able to fine-tune their craft at home. Utah baseball and softball have responded differently to the challenges of the road. The baseball team is off to a slow 2-9 start, while the softball team has it going on with 15 wins and only 3 losses. Reporting on sports for Newsbreak, I'm Ben Wilson.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you for joining us here on Newsbreak.
Don't forget to make your voice heard in the ASUU elections.
Yeah, and also we can check out the big rugby match coming up this weekend. That's going to be a big one, no?
Definitely.
Really excited for that. Also, March Madness getting underway here.
That's right.
This is my favorite time of year. I'm really excited for March Madness this year. Just wish the Utes had a dog in the fight.
What? Okay, to see more of our stories and to find out more regarding the ASUU elections, go to our website.
You've been watching Newsbreak, the show produced by students, for students. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.